All right. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Great to see you for another Marketing Roundtable, our whistle-stop tour of Marketing Madness every single week. And it's fantastic to have you all in the house. Let me just share my screens and just go through what we're going to be talking about today. And welcome you all along. We will be doing a nice bit of Q&A today, and I will be doing some interaction if my computer doesn't want to break whilst we're doing this. And I just want to share a couple of ideas around lead generation. I've always been fascinated with lead generation. In fact, I don't know how many of you guys do the breakfast networking stuff. I used to do BNI, and I used to start my morning thing to say, you know, I get the phone ringing and inbox pinging with hot new inquiries was my little tagline. And it's really because I just love that thing, the thing that creates the inquiry. I always have. And today, I want to share a couple of fundamentals for expert businesses, people that share and sell their time, their expertise, their knowledge, and actually what would I suggest in terms of that lead generation side of things. Okay, cool. So let's just think about lead generation and actually, what does it really mean? Well, the goal of successful lead generation is to generate many qualified leads. That qualified piece is vitally important as possible. Or in other words, people that want to buy your stuff that actually fit that target persona that you want to work on, the best type of clients. We don't want to have, anybody can get phone calls from people that kind of want to get some stuff that's kind of loosely related to what you do. But actually, what about the best type of clients who have got the budget, who have got the desire, who have the pain that you solve, who are the type of people you like working with? That's a real lead generation campaign. That's what we mean by qualified. And we want as many of those as possible. Before I go on to the next slide, I just want to put a little caveat because I can hear them in the background. It is the school holidays. So this is a complete disclaimer that my two little cherubs may run around and make a complete mess behind me. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But hey, I've warned you, so it's not my fault. Okay, so step number one, my friends, is we've got to, remember this is 101. Okay, so there will be stuff that is like, a nice reminder of stuff that you've probably already looked at, but actually, what is my take on that kind of core fundamental, and how can I give you some ideas, right? So in terms of step one, it's understanding exactly what the proposition is. So what is it that you're actually selling? And so we need to solve a pain, and we need to do it well within a solution scale. So what exactly is the proposition that you're selling? So let me just jump on my blackboard and just kind of give you a bit of an idea of this. We say to anyone when they are putting together a campaign, in fact, I'm going to use the rainbow pen for this. And when I use the rainbow pen, I don't do it lightly. This is an important moment, all right? And so the important thing is, if I can get my pen to work, oh no, come on now, 2 seconds. Come on, work for me. There we go. Right, okay, so if that's working, this should work, and it's not. Right, we're going to have to freehand with the mouse, which is going to look messy, but there you go, we can work on this. Right, so the most important thing is the result that we want to get people to. Now, to get from the result, we want to work out where we are now, right? So the point being is that this is doing exactly what is the proposition. Too many people think about the features, and Matt, I'm going to kind of pick on your business sector, not you, but your business sector. So Matthew Williams produces amazing websites, and that's the thing that most people go to sell. They go, oh, I want to sell a website with X amount of features and all these sort of things. Actually, why do we go and buy a website? We don't buy a website because we think we need a website. We buy a website because we want to get a result. What is that result we want from Matthew Williams? Well, we want leads, don't we? We want to use that marketing tool, a website, to be able to generate inquiries. So what am I buying from Matthew? Am I buying a website from him, or am I buying leads from him? And actually, it's leads that I want. It's awareness. It's actually some sort of tool that creates opportunity. And so actually knowing the thing that you solve, the pain that you solve for clients, is so vitally important because you sell that. And now, where are they now? So when people come and speak to Matthew, they might say, well, I'm not getting any inquiries, or my online presence doesn't look right. And what a lot of people say is my old website's looking a bit tired. It's a bit bored. I do some different things. So I need to update some of my services. Actually, what they're saying is, I feel that these are all the reasons why my website's currently not getting me leads. They're not actually saying, oh, my website doesn't have these features. They go, these is what I suspect are the reasons why my current website's not working, because it doesn't reflect me, or it's not nicely designed, or it's old, or it's not mobile optimized, or whatever it is. Same with a business coach. They might come to you and say, oh, I think I've got a problem with my team. I've got an issue with my accounting stuff, or I just kind of, find my time management out. Actually, what are they saying? Well, I'm just not getting enough business growth. My business isn't growing, right? That's actually what they're saying. It's just all these things that they self-diagnose when they come and see an expert. What are your clients currently self-diagnosing when they come and see you? And actually, you've got to say that all that will be sold if we actually help your business to grow, or all that will be sold if we help you business to get leads. And so therefore, now to leads, there's this wiggly line. Now, this wiggly line, I told you freehand wouldn't be working very well. So this wiggly line, everybody has a wiggly line. And the point being is you go from where you are now to the result, and that takes the features. Now, that may be, if we're thinking about leads, that may be that they need to have a mobile optimized website because they're missing out on that mobile optimization. It may be that they therefore need to add more service pages onto their website because it doesn't reflect their current. So it may be these things that they think, but there'll probably be 100 other things that actually they don't have, like they don't have a call to action on their homepage. Or if it's business growth, they haven't, they actually need to employ someone to do telephone outreach, or they need to get run some ads to be able to do some marketing stuff, or actually think, why are they spending so much money on their office when they could be investing that on whatever, right? So you kind of know, you can diagnose this route. So once you've got this journey and you can see where they are now, you empathize, say, I understand, I used to be there, I know where you are. And actually what the result is that we need to be able to get is this, and the journey map to be able to get there from there to there is the journey. So that, my friends, is how you actually diagnose what your proposition should be and the journey they should get there. Right. So now once you've got that, we now need to think about the second half of this and exactly what your proposition is. And then we need to solve a pain and do it well. So that's solving that pain, which is more leads or business growth or whatever the pain is. And you need to do it well with a solution that scales, right? So I just so journey map. That, by the way, gang, is my journey map. Our Hall of Fame, because it's called the $1 Million Sprint. So our Hall of Fame is our clients that are doing 84K months. That's in dollars. So it works out to be about £60,000 months. We've got a number of people we've taken on this journey and got them into the Hall of Fame. And so where they start in the preliminaries is where they're launching new products and different solutions, right? So you can see how that journey map can works for our business. We use this diagram to be able to explain how our accelerator works. And so we can see that that's the pain that we solve and the solution that scales, right? So that allows us now to really encapsulate people's minds and to market into that result. People buy the result, so you market the result and you justify logically with the journey. And that's so important. So if you don't have a diagram like that, then you're missing out on this brilliant piece of visual representation of the transition that you help your clients to go on. Get it? Sweet. Okay, right. So second piece is that we need to really identify that audience. So when we are thinking about people, Matthew, I'm going to pick on you, and actually let me just unshare here. So give me a yes if you are a business coach or something related. Who's going to give me a yes? You're going to unmute and give me a yes.
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 Yes. Okay. Okay. I love it. Good stuff. So Cameron, John, Janice, and a few other people that are in the chat. Yes, Parksy in there. Good to see you, Parksy. Love that diagram. So there's a few business coaches. So I'm going to say, for you guys, say we've got Matthew Williams on his marketing side as his expert. Bam. And also we've got our business coaches in here. And if you are other types of service sector businesses, then you will also have similar applications. But I'm going to pick on you guys, right? So identifying a target market. Now, for Matthew and for our marketing people, there will be different types of people out there. So you will have you'll have people that need to have a new website, but they are kind of going, oh, I just need to spend some money, get something out there because I just don't have this one. That's a type of target market, and they are interested in the quickest, cheapest, and also pain-free, because if they don't mind doing it themselves, they would have used like Wix or something like that to create their own website. So they just basically want someone to do it for them, and they want it to be cheap, right? And so those type of people actually have made that assessment that they're just price conscious, and they detached actually from the result that really is going to help them, which is lead generation. They actually don't believe enough in it, versus someone that is a company that understands the value of having a website on there to be able to generate them inquiries and to actually be a marketing tool, or even an e-commerce website that is vital that they have customers come along to it and actually can buy stuff because they know it's like direct ROI. So you start to think, well, actually, what would be the better target audience for us? Because if we just try and do all things to all of those groups, well, we're going to have a load of people buying some cheap stuff, and the people that buy the cheap stuff that just kind of want it there actually because they just want it pain-free and they don't want to have to do anything, they're the worst type of clients, because they'll be giving you lots of questions and like blah. And then you might go, well, actually, e-commerce is good, but actually they want such big websites and they've got thousands and thousands of products they want to get on, and oh my god, what work it's going to be able to actually get them in. So although it's vital for them, it's lots and lots of work. And actually this is a great way of kind of representing a Venn diagram when you start to think about your target market. And this is going to be fun because they're going to have to do this with a mouse. Let me just move this out of the way. Let's try and distract you with a rainbow pen whilst I do a bad drawing of a Venn diagram, right? So there you go. So a Venn diagram is kind of this bit, isn't it? Which is where you start to look at these type of categories. And this is, time, result that you can get to clients, a time result, and maybe enjoyment of working with them. And you start to think about what makes up a perfect client, because actually those small cheap people are going to be like pain in the ass to be able to work time wise. It's easy to get the result for them because they just want a website, but it's not very enjoyable, right? So actually it doesn't kind of work. Whereas you've got e-commerce, which is it's difficult to get the result for them because they just, they kind of thinking, well, why am I not getting as many sales as Amazon? It maybe not be as enjoyable because they don't want to have a lot on there, and also the time doesn't work. Okay, so what if Matt went for businesses that are established that actually know they can get leads on there? Maybe he's looking at accountants or something along those lines that understand that actually there is a local search, local accountants near me that would find a website, they would generate leads from there, and also their professional services. They understand the value of working with people. Maybe he goes, okay, so professional services, time wise, it's actually not that bad because there's only a few pages and they kind of get it. Results wise is that I can get a result for them, and enjoyment can work, right? And so you start to go, okay, right, that is where I can go find my sweet spot of actually now my target audience is B2B service sector, websites or whatever the assessment of it, right? So once you identify that target market, you can really start to actually sell into that niche. And it's so important to do it. The riches are in the niches, as the Americans say. You can really hyper target stuff. Now, we had this same conversation. I talk about this when I actually do audience in a bit more detail. I had our Colin, and when I ran an agency, I scaled an agency and flogged it. My Arto avatar was Colin. He was owner operated of an IT company, and he really helped us to build out what would be a perfect lead generation campaign for him. And once we had done it, he was so happy to give us great testimonials. He then recommended us to other businesses that were like him, and we became very much the experts in generating inquiries for service sector businesses, and Colin was the person who did it. So we actually started to talk about our Colin. And so by actually having your target audience, once you know that you can get a result for these people and the perfect people to get a result, that is vitally important. And this is a slide I'd like to show. This is Colin here in one of our free sessions that we used to do. We used to do them in person back in the day. And lots of people here weren't exactly like Colin's, except for Andrew here, that gravitated towards Colin in the chat, in the coffees, because they were kind of similar businesses. And Colin was there just to talk about how great we were. It wasn't a plant, he was a feature of the event to give us testimony. It was very kind of him to do it. And of course, then Andrew was like, oh, well, that's excellent. And he went on to go buy straight away because Andrew was a Colin. And so that's when you start to really know you've got the right people in the room, in your target market, right? So that's once we've got that. So now once we know what we solve, what our pain is that we can solve, and the product, and we then know who we're going to sell it to, then we start to think about your sales funnel, right? And so this is where you get from awareness into consider into convert. This is the funnel bit. So you need to build out awareness asset, you need to build out consideration asset, and you need to build out convert assets. Too many people just try and generate inquiries by just chucking a load of stuff on social media and just hoping it doesn't work. So how would you go do that? Well, we always talk about this power of one. We did power of one last time, and we just talk about, well, why don't you go deep, not wide, on just one social media network, right? So build awareness. So how would that work? So if you pick LinkedIn, for example, how could you go deep, not wide? Well, LinkedIn allows you to put articles up there to show your thought leadership. Those articles can be duplicated into a LinkedIn newsletter, which people can subscribe to, which then automatically gets sent to people's inboxes. From there, you can also then run events on LinkedIn to be able to invite people along to events and get invites going out. And of course, you can go and reach out to people, get connections, and build awareness. And there's a ton of stuff you can do around that. So awareness, consider, convert. Let me just show you on the diagram exactly how your LinkedIn journey could go. And too many people try and work on too many of the social media platforms, because then they just dilute their time. Whereas if you go deep on one, we think about awareness. So on LinkedIn, you can go run a campaign that goes, hang on, just wondering why my, right. Does that mean that's going to work? Aha, I've got the pen of truth and justice back. Okay, good stuff. I can actually do this. Okay, right. So when you're going out on LinkedIn, you get these connection requests, right? And we want to be running a connection campaign. This is awareness, right? And so we want to be connecting with people. So we do a search and we go find our Collins, right? So let me just show you that on LinkedIn. So if we want to go and find our Collins on LinkedIn, we need to, oh, well, I'm pressing on everything. Here, come on. Right, LinkedIn, it's loading up LinkedIn. We want to go find our Collins on LinkedIn. We got to go think, well, actually, who are they and how can we find them? Well, it's really easy. You just kind of put this Boolean search or whatever it is, right? So he was IT, yeah, he was an IT person plus founder plus Surrey, because maybe I want to contact people in Surrey, and plus UK, right? Because there's two Surreys, there's one in Canada, right? So these are all the founders of IT companies in Surrey, right? So we do the search here, you get your 3 results, and then you click here and go for see more people result. Right, you press this button here, come on. Okay, so we got 953 founders of IT companies in Surrey. Nice. Okay, so what I can do is I can start to go and have a look at this, and I can start to connect. This is awareness. So I need to find people and make them aware of me, right? So this person, founder at this business. Okay, great. I go in here. I can send a little note. I can say, hey, I'd love to connect with you, with IT to IT, love to, see more of your posts, whatever it is, and connect with them. So now I'm just getting awareness. Now that's great, because the opportunity in Surrey is 959 people. Not all of them will be perfect, but that's the opportunity, right? Then the low hanging fruit, if we go and look at our first degree connections, these are all the people that have then connected with us. So 72 people. So I've got now 72 people. I've gone from being my audience, my target audience, to actually my connections, therefore my audience, the people that are currently aware of me. So now I've got 900 into 72. That's the awareness piece. So now once they're aware of us, then we need to help them consider us. So we now need to go back to our little diagram, and we say, hey, how do you consider us? So we go, awareness, consider, and we then maybe send them a DM to invite them to something that's a consideration asset. What could you do as a consideration asset? Well, we recommend that everybody should be running a weekly moment. What is a weekly moment? It is the focal point of your week. It is the crescendo. It's the main thing that you want to be working on. So, for example, it could be your weekly podcast that you launch, right? It could be a long form blog post that you purpose out as an article that becomes your newsletter on LinkedIn, and you produce that. Could be an event like this. This currently is our weekly moment. You invite people along, you give them some value, right? That's because they go from awareness, which is basically I just connected with you, but who God knows who you are. I've got loads of connections, into, oh, I'm actually reading your article, I'm listening to your blog, or I've come to your event. I'm now considering you as being a thought leader in your space. Remember, this is 101 for expert businesses. If you're an expert and you are not having people consider you as being an expert every single week, then I suggest plonking a weekly moment into your marketing mix and make that your focal point. When we get a bit ninja, by the way, and I do go through this a bit more detail in some other sessions, this is sort of stuff that we do with our clients. We talk about having 13 weekly moments. If you have 13 weekly moments, why? It's 52 weeks divided by 4. That means that you run your weekly moment 4 times a year. So you basically have only 13. Once you've got 13 moments, you can repeat those subjects over and over, and it just means that you're looping. But of course, I can't remember what I did at the weekend, let alone 14 weeks ago. So it doesn't matter that there's a bit of repetition in here, because you're just giving out thought leadership, right? So it means that you can actually get this really, really working like a machine, right? So once you've got awareness and you've got your awareness working, you're building an audience. These people, by the way, are joining your email list at the same time. People have a heart attack when I say that, but let me just kind of give you a live example. If I go into one of these at my first degree connections, Owen Richards here, hopefully he's not going to let me down. I'd go onto there and say, Owen Richards, UK leading outsourced sales demand DJ. He sounds like the sort of person that potentially could join my stuff. And I go, well, Owen, I want to invite you along to one of my events. You're my first degree connection. You seem like a nice chap. So I go and I say, well, look, Owen's got his contact info that he's happily for people to share here. So I go click on Owen's contact details and I go, oh, thank you, Owen. And he's very kindly given me his email address. So I can go and invite him to my event, because clearly that event is meant for my first degree connections that I've targeted. And if I want to, I can send him a birthday card as well, which would be nice. And of course, I can go check out his website and get some more information. So Owen is freely giving his information online to his connections. And so therefore, as one of his connections, I feel completely okay with emailing him an invite to my event. Right? But if you ask people about that, they'll be going, oh, but you're going to violate his privacy. You're going to get right up his GDPR. And I just thought, oh God, no, I'm not. No, he's asking me to contact info. This is freely given. But anyway, that's just my opinion. This is light entertainment with Richard in the morning. This is certainly not legal advice, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. So don't follow what I say. Right. So next step is don't do it. It's wrong. It's incorrect. Don't do what I'm saying. So who's that? Just someone say something.
Yeah. Plug your laptop in. Your battery might die in a minute.
Matt. Yes. There's a man that's been on one of these before. Good man. How many times has that happened, by the way? That's a few times. I'm sorry. I'm the worst battery plugger in the world. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I probably needed to calm down a bit as well, didn't I? So it's all right. Okay, so awareness. Let me finish this up. So awareness, consider, and then so once people come to a weekly moment, then you say, hey, right. So convert. Now we are experts, right? We are not sleazy salespeople. And so you've got to keep it classy, right? So yes, there'll be people on there that if you put together a nice podcast or a nice set of articles, they'll go, wow, okay, I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing on here. And I would like to maybe, see what else is happening here and maybe have a further conversation, right? With Matt. So Matt's talking, he does a weekly moment. He did a weekly moment on SEO, for example. And people are, oh yeah, I really need to do some search engine optimization for my website. Makes total sense. I will book in to have a call with Matt. Now, don't pitch this as, let me sell you something, because that's not what it's about. You need to pitch this as, hey, why don't you come and get some extra value from me? So we've gone from being awareness of you to come along to my weekly moment to get some value to why don't you get some more tailored value that's specific for you personally into a strategy session. And so therefore you book in a strategy session or a discovery session or whatever you want to brand it as, but you make sure that in that session, you make it 90% value. And if there's an opportunity to present your stuff at the end of it, then open the door and actually show them how they can then continue to work with you on a paid version. But that should be total value, because then it puts the class into the sales process and you continue to help people. And you should show people what happens in that session. So book this session and we'll go through exactly these things and you'll get exactly this value out the back of it. And actually, as a bonus for booking it, I'll also give you my ebook or whatever it is, keep it classy, experts. The whole point of it is to keep on adding value. If they don't want to, if it's not right for them to buy now, at least they might be able to tell other people or be able to come back to you at some point. They're not feeling like you've burnt a lead by doing that, right? So awareness, consider, convert. So important. By the way, gang, just to let you know, if you want to be able to get loads of other referrals, then just work this second fundamentals on how this is our system, how we coach clients. The second piece is how you work that proposition. We talked about step one in terms of that working the pain. If you have a way of delighting people when they start working with you, and then you gamify your product so then they can win at working with you, then people that are delighted and winning at your product will become your advocates and they'll tell other people about it. And then it doesn't matter what I tell you on this whole call, the best type of marketing is word of mouth marketing, because when you get a referral from someone that said, I worked with Matt, he's actually awesome, you should also get a website from Matt. That's the best type of referral people can get. So to cultivate that, delight them on the way in, have a great onboarding system, gamify your product so they know that they're winning at your product, and then help them to tell other people by having some sort of partner program where you'll give them commission if they, like a partner fee, or send them a hamper or whatever it is if they give you a referral, right? So delight, gamify, advocate. Cool. Now, the next step 4 is where we get into the data. Love a bit of data. And so what gets measured gets improved. Whenever you are doing lead generation, you need to think about actually measuring it and improving it. So if you think about your connections that you are making on your LinkedIn, how many are you making each week? How many connection requests are you sending? How many are accepting it? What are the conversion rate into, say, your weekly moment? Therefore, how many people booked your weekly moment? How many people attended your weekly moment? How many strategy sessions do you get? How many sales do you get from that? That's what I mean by what gets measured gets improved. And this is the type of dashboard that our clients create at $1 Million Sprint. And it's so important to actually really think about having a target for that. Let me just kind of quickly show you what a target should look like. We say to our clients, you want to be targeting 30, 20, 5, 2. And what does that mean? Well, 30 bookings into your weekly moment per week, which will give you 20 attendees. If you get 20 attendees, you should get 5 strategy sessions. If you get 5 strategy sessions, you get 2 sales. 30, 25, 2. And to be able to get a rhythm into your business and to be able to create a solution that really scales and a value proposition that works, 2 sales is more than enough to be able to scale your business into that hall of fame that I showed you on one of our diagrams. Trust me, because it's a sustained compounding effect of bringing on more clients and more clients and more clients there. So 30, 25, 2 is what the target is. And that's what you should be building up to. That's what your 13-week cycle should be producing for you, 30, 25, 2. Cool. And I'm just going to say, finally, we'll take some questions. You've got to overcome this imposter syndrome. And I think it's all out there. People go, oh, I'm really worried about producing a podcast, or I'm worried about being seen as an expert. I'm worried about putting myself out there. I'm worried about, emailing people that I've connected with, inviting them to stuff, and I think half the thing when you're really thinking about scaling an expert business is actually taking the position of expert and proudly putting it out there as much as possible. And that's what this weekly moment gives you your spotlight each week, and it really helps you to be able to push out that expertise, and for it not to feel like, oh, I've got to do something every day. No, once a week, and your entire marketing rolls around that. The entire campaign rolls around that. I'll just just quickly show you why that works. So as you're putting together a funnel, the most important thing is to actually think about actually how your funnel would look around that weekly moment. This is the type of thing that we build out. I build out these things for our clients, and then we start to help them to implement these type of systems. So for example, we're talking about LinkedIn here. You're running your LinkedIn outreaching campaign, your organic campaign, you're inviting people to an educational event, you're warming them up with invites and emails to that event. You're then doing that event on Zoom. You're then bring them into a strategy session. You're then following them up with emails, maybe even a phone call, do the strategy session, send them to a landing page about your product where they can consider that product after that strategy session. And then if they need another call, decision call, and then sign contracts. If you know that is your funnel and someone has actually put that together with you and you've got that locked in, you then build it step by step, and then you have the most wonderful system that churns out you. And I'll just let that settle. Now what I do, I'm going to take a couple of questions now. I just want to let you know, and quite right, I'm showing you a system, and I'm also inviting you in for the value that I want to be able to give to you in these strategy sessions. And I do run strategy sessions. Clearly I run strategy sessions because obviously that's what I teach the clients to do. But in ours, we talk about where are you now and where would you want to be in 12 months time with your expert business? And then what campaigns and process will get you there. You've just seen a diagram of a process and a campaign, but actually is your weekly moment event? Is it a podcast? Is it a long form email post? What are you going to do for that? And ultimately, how do you run that? Because we also talk about this 13-week cycle. You think, well, actually, how do we run a 13-week cycle? Well, we will show you, and I haven't got time to go into this detail, so I will go through this in the strategy session. So if you're up for it, do book one, but we'll show you how we run and our clients run a 13-week content calendar that will look something like this, where you've got your weekly moments, 1 to 13 here. And then on Monday, what do you post? Tuesday, what do you post to be able to get people onto your Wednesday weekly moment? Thursday's about the replay of the weekly moment, and then Friday's thought leadership. And so this is the type of project management system that we help our clients to produce. And so from here, for example, a Monday engagement creator is a product, is a tool that we help to spike engagement on Mondays, such as a poll within LinkedIn. And then each one of these cards has exactly the text that our clients implement to be able to actually get the engagement creator working on a Monday. Or on a Tuesday, what do they actually say to get people along to their Wednesday weekly moment? Well, here's the email, here's the social media design that you would get to get people along to the Wednesday session, right? And so we give my exact 13-week cycle to clients so they can see it, copy it, and obviously make it their own. And so that's the type of thing that I'll go through in more detail. So by having the system, you'll know what you send on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursday, Friday, to be able to ultimately get your 30, 25 to rocking and rolling. So I'll take a question, but I'll just quickly show you, and I'll put in the chat how you can book into that strategy session, because I'd love to show you and think about your 13-week cycle. If you just simply go onto our website, here, and I'll dump it in the chat, but just in case people are watching this on replay, you'll see at the top here we've got this free strategy session. We only run one a week, and it's Wednesdays at 12:30. You see here you can book it here using this orange button here, and you go onto this calendar. It's nice and easy. So look, I'll just chuck that in the chat. There's still space on today's one, so here we go. Bam, that's your content calendar in there. So jump into there, and so it's in the chat. And you just simply book on today's one here, 12:30 there. If you can't do today, you've got tomorrow. But remember, it's only once a week at 12:30. There is space on today's session. So I'd love to see as many of you on there as possible. Do that now. Look, let's open the room up for further chat. So questions, gang, questions and thoughts. Matthew, I'm just looking at the chat now. Matthew, say, don't forget to plug the charger. I love it. Go for it. Talk to me. Who's got a question? John. Oh, unmute, John.
Ah, there we are. The unmute button wasn't working, sorry. How would it work if the weekly event was actually the same presentation each time, And as I was framing the question, I found myself wondering whether slightly repurpose the title or something to a slightly different audience, perhaps. So, for instance, lead gen for plumbers, and next week lead gen for electricians. And
so it's
so
not,
you're just sort of changing the core market so as to
it's
take
all sorts
the
of
same
wrong.
basic presentation. Yeah,
It's completely wrong in the loveliest possible way. The reason why is because when we talk about one audience, so if we're going to go after one tour audience, we want to go deep, not wide. Power of one social media platform that's perfect for one type of audience, that's got a product that's perfect for that type of audience. So one product, one audience, one social media platform. So if you're going one product, loads of different audiences, you're basically a fleeting moment each week for that audience in 52 weeks. And so you're not building any depths with them. Don't expect people to jump on and actually go and buy. Basically, it's a webinar funnel that you're describing, John. Now, don't get me wrong, webinar funnels are nice, but webinar funnels require big ad campaigns. In my experience, we've done a lot of marketing, spent a lot of money on ads on behalf of our clients and also ourselves. So you've got to pile fresh meat into this machine constantly every single week and hope that the one presentation is enough to convince them to get their wallet out. Whereas actually in reality, we want to hang around a little bit and understand our mentors and kind of get a feel from, build relationships with them. And only at the right time do we actually then buy, which is why you need to have that consideration event. And the reason why we say to do it different content each time, I'll tell you why, John, is that the 13 weeks, let me just do a little diagram. This purposely, when you do and I've slightly gone longer than I would normally do today, but when you do a weekly moment, you do the first 5 minutes of content, then you do about 20 minutes of conversation. And because it's a 45-minute session, you then kind of leave 20 minutes of Q&A. Why do you do that? Well, when anybody's going to try and buy something from you, they're looking for a number of things. They're looking for leadership. They're looking for community, because I want to feel like I'm in the same room. So am I in the same room? Am I in a peer-to-peer room? Is this specific for me? I'm also looking for routine. So I want to make a habit of kind of thinking about this problem. So if you're doing lead generation, for example, you can give some great ideas about lead generation. If you've got all plumbers in a room and they can see other plumbers and plumbers are asking plumber type questions, I'm like, oh, cool, I'm in the right room. If I'm then also coming and seeing you regularly, I've made a habit of seeing John as being my mentor, and then personalization. And so if I then ask a question, you're able to specifically target it to me, then you've got me in the middle and here. And then if I see you as my leader, I know that you're talking to people that are like me and making a habit of it, and you're answering my personal questions, I'm like, yeah, John's the man. I'm in the house. So then I'm ready to go buy, because I'm kind of cooked from it. But the reason why you only do 20 minutes of leadership here, because this is where you can answer questions, so you can personalize stuff, and people will ask questions so they can see community in there. And of course, because it's weekly, it's rhythm, right? But the leadership piece here, because you're only doing 20 minutes, you're giving enough information for people to go, oh, okay, that was cool, but it's only 20 minutes. So there's not enough for actually people to go, well, let's think about today, right? So I've gone over some LinkedIn stuff, right? So we're talking about some LinkedIn outreach stuff. I've mentioned things like events on LinkedIn, but haven't shown anything. I mentioned the newsletter, but haven't shown anything. I mentioned articles, but haven't shown anything. I've talked about a connection campaign. So I did a quick search there. Talk about the amount of stuff that we talked about today, but what was the depth of that stuff? And so look, please, hang on, I need to look you all in the eye. I'm showing this is complete transparency, because that's the whole point of this. I want to show you that you guys should be doing this exactly as well. So please don't think that I'm trying to, this is some sort of weird, like, kind of, vortex of me trying to sell stuff, right? It is a whole point is that I'm showing you guys to give a light sliver of what your product is. If you think about your core service, John, is it a lead generation product? I presume that's what you're saying.
I just plucked that idea out of thin air for the moment.
Right. So thin air lead generation product, right? So if you think about the 13 core segments of the lead generation orange, now that is you unpeel that orange, there's your 13 subjects that you cover. And you light touch each one of those subjects each time. And so people put it all together. What they have is not the full orange. They just have a very light outer outer piece of the full orange. And so when they want to go and buy and really make a difference and make a change and actually get stuff done, then they need to go and buy your product or service or whatever it is. You know, we always talk, when I kind of talk about markets, you've got your DIY Dave, who just loves to get all the kind of information, try and do everything themselves, and spend 3 years trying to DIYing stuff and realize that actually they just need to go buy something to actually help them to go and accelerate. And then you've got the people that are the gurus out there. And what did all the gurus, including myself, do? They went and brought some amazing courses way back when, tested and measured everything, did a load of stuff to be able to get themselves into position, and also had some amazing suppliers that helped me along the way as well, because it works basically in the expert industry, but also in the buying a service industry. You have a team of suppliers around you that are awesome. You've got a team of people that kind of help you to do stuff, and also you get thought leadership from the people that have been there, done it, got the t-shirt and what you want to do. And that's how the gurus expand and go faster. And so that's why you shouldn't worry when you're becoming a person that has a weekly moment, becoming that expert. You shouldn't worry about giving a lot, because it's not, you just don't have enough time to go deep enough on the how-to, right? Yeah. Cool. I hope that helps. Look, guys, I'm sticking around for 5 more minutes and to answer some further questions. But look, just to remind you, do jump in. That I want to actually apply this to your businesses. I'm going to stick this in the chat now. My phone has gone off with a lovely couple of bookings already. So looking forward to meeting you if you have jumped onto that call. But I've just gone into the chat now. It's 1:45, which is a normal kind of finishing time, but I'll be finishing probably about 5 to, so 10 more minutes of questions. So far away if you've got them, gang. Back into the room. Who's got a question? Sharon, you've got a question here, or Sharon jumped? Oh, she might have gone. She has. Okay, so Sharon had a question in the chat. That's okay. I'll throw it back into the room. Who's got a further question? No, too much been thrown. Too much being thrown. Happy to. There you go, Parksy, go for it.
Yeah, it's just an observation. You was when you was doing your demonstration of searches, you was using Sales Navigator.
No, I was using organically LinkedIn.
Was you? Okay. I just saw Sales Navigator, and I was just saying some of us don't have Sales Navigator, and I just thought it might be appropriate to differentiate between the two.
Yeah, so we can differentiate. So you can see here, Rich, that this is just normal LinkedIn. So where I did, let me just go back to the search. So I always demo in the free stuff because that's my favorite number. And so you've got this kind of IT plus founder plus sorry plus UK. That's all within normal LinkedIn. Here on the right-hand side, you've got Sales Nav. And so Sales Navigator, if you want to pay for it, I kind of pay for it because I use a load of naughty hacky tools in LinkedIn, which aren't owned by LinkedIn. But I have this thought process that if I pay LinkedIn some money each month, then I don't get my account banned because I'm using all the naughty tools, which, by the way, has been a perfect thing because I've been doing naughty stuff for about 2 years and have never been banned. So it kind of works. Well, it does work. It 100% works. It's just, you know. So, and by the way, those tools are, you know, that whole system I showed you, that connections, and I do about 100 connections a day, and those are all going out automatically. And when they do connect, it automatically sends them a series of messages, which will invite people onto weekly moments or invite people straight to strategy sessions. It works entirely without me, and I don't need to worry about any of that stuff. But that's naughty. You shouldn't do this. Remember, light entertainment with Richard in the morning. Okay, so so this is Sales Navigator. And within here, you can do all these clever little searches. We do searches that are literally like county by county. So marketers in Warwickshire, marketers in Tyne and Wear, oh Christ, you know, look, marketers in all these different counties. And so there's just tons and tons of people, business coaches in all these different counties. And we're playing about with it. And the reason why we do this is because the kind of software stuff that we work on, we can just go deep. You know, 2,500 marketers in the Manchester area, Manchester and Gloucestershire area. I'm not sure why the Gloucestershire is up there, but in this search, there's a lot of people in there. So these are lots more information. We can save these as leads. We can message them. We can kind of do all these searches. You know, Sales Navigator allows you to look at things such as things what is it, just thinking, yeah, so company headcount is something that you can't do on a normal search in LinkedIn. You could do there's a couple of other cool things that you can kind of do in terms of Sales Navigator. There's just the let's look at the filters. There's loads of different filters and stuff. Oh yeah, you can do things where they've just changed jobs, which is another cool thing. So you can go reach out to people. It's probably more, to be honest with you, my assessment, I don't know if anybody else uses Sales Navigator. My assessment of Sales Navigator is that it's quite a lot of money for not massive amounts of value. But it's my insurance policy that I don't get banned. So that in itself is the reason why I spend the money on Sales Navigator. And of course the searches that I can do and load into my my software tools are deeper and better than just doing the light touch stuff that you've got there. So it's kind of it works for the way that I approach LinkedIn, which is a very fast driven, big database generating lead generation approach. But I don't coach it. I don't coach that. We have something called try it, nail it, automate it, delegate it when I coach. So you trial LinkedIn outreach manually. Once it's working for you, you nailing it, then you automate it. So only then, once you're getting leads, getting sales from LinkedIn, it's working, then you move on to automation stage if you want to. And that's when you start to worry about things like paying for Sales Navigator and paying for software tools. But we only transition when you start to nail stuff. It's like the 13-week cycle. I currently don't touch any of my social media. I don't do any of my 13-week cycle. I just turn up and speak to you guys and do my strategy session. That's about all the work I do in terms of sales and marketing each week. And my team do everything else because I've automated as much as possible and I've delegated it to an amazing team that look after me. And so that's when your business gets completed, where you just turn up and say, hey, I am a here's my expertise, and then you go again and all the follow-up gets done for you. That's the place we want to pilgrimage to. That's the mecca, if you like, of our kind of lead generation when we're thinking about doing that as expert businesses. For you to be able to turn up to your weekly moment, do your weekly moment, go away, turn up to your strategy session, nice amount of strategy sessions, do your strategy session, and then 2 sales come from that. That's just 2 little moments of time per week. The rest of it gets done without you. That's perfect. Cool. Nick's saying, interesting. What level of LinkedIn do you have? Is it premium? No, it's Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Premium is different to Sales Navigator. You could, I guess you could do LinkedIn Premium. Doesn't give you as much of the search stuff. So I kind of pay for the Navigator piece because I then use their searches for my outreach stuff. But I guess you could pay for premium. But I say to my clients, if you're going to use all the sneaky beaky stuff that we talk about, just go straight to that Sales Navigator because it gives you good searches, and then go from there. Good. Right. So any final questions, gang? Any final questions? Or we could close. Cool. All right. Well, look, should we gift ourselves a couple of minutes of time and look forward to seeing you. If you have booked in a strategy session, thank you.
Richard.
Parksy, yes.
Yeah, in chat, Nick was on about that LinkedIn wasn't working for him because he can't find anybody with triathletes, and I've just responded that I've put triathletes in and I've got 6,500, but it probably depends on whether how many of his level 1, 2 and 3 connections are triathletes. So it might be that my connections that I've got 6,500 might be because my 1, 2 and 3 connections might be triathletes, and they've actually put triathletes in their profile.
Okay. Yeah, I've got 12 that I'm seeing in here. I've got Plus UK. I wouldn't call myself a triathlete, though. I'd call myself a triathlete, wouldn't I? Because that's the point. You're going to look at that. So yeah, 3,900 triathlete. Okay, so then they go. Do you see how I just dropping the S went from 12 to 4,000? So 85 now in the UK. So that, you know, you're starting to build it. I don't know if it is just UK you can do. So there was 85 in the UK, but then 3,900 worldwide. I'm not sure how many of those are going to be exact.
By dropping the S, I've gone down to 3,900.
Yeah, 3,900. Yeah, 3,900. So that's how you do. But also, is it just triathletes? Because also you could have swimmer, because I know Nick teaches professional swimmers. So 66,000. Okay. Swimmer plus you. Do you see how you mean you can start to do these searches, Nick? You can start to pull people out. 153 swimmers, Outdoor Swimmer magazine, Science Consultancy founding. I imagine maybe she's doing some, I don't know. So it could be deep in their thing. Channel swimmer, double Olympic swimmer. I don't know if you'd be able to coach that one though. But I don't know, but maybe. But do you see how it's kind of, that's how you'd work. The other point, Nick, is that that might be LinkedIn, but I would then head to Facebook, and actually I'd do very quickly, just kind of look at this, and I'd be prospecting within Facebook communities. So if I was looking for things like this, so when we've got clients, I've got a client that was teaching people to do Ironman. Still got Mia is coaching Ironman, and she. You go into groups here and you would go, you know, triathlete and search groups. And come on. Okay, cool. Right. So look, here we go. So you've got 5.2 thousand members here, 2 posts a day. So that's lively. The triathletes, so 2,000 members, 3 posts a week. Look, I mean, look, 68,000 bloody members. Pathetic So there you go. They're the people that need you, Nick.
Okay.
You need to move them from being pathetic to being just a triathlete. Like 68,000 people that consider themselves pathetic at being triathletes. That's a great opportunity. So do you see how the power of one? So what would I suggest to you? I would suggest that your one social media platform is not LinkedIn, my friend.
Okay.
They would be on there potentially, but the open door, you know, the easier place that your community are clustering is Facebook. So
Okay,
jump
great.
in
Thank you.
and make them less pathetic. Right, on that bombshell, and I bid you farewell. And great to see you. See you next week, or see you on the strategy session. Toodle pip.